What if everything you see, everything you touch, everything you feel isn't real? What if the universe itself is a simulation, a vast digital mirage, rendered not by chance or gods, but by code? This is not science fiction. It's one of the most mind-bending questions in modern philosophy and physics. A question that forces us to confront the very nature of existence. Welcome to the Heresy of Reason. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, because here we question everything. The simulation hypothesis is simple, yet terrifying. It proposes that our entire reality, every atom, every star, every heartbeat, might be part of a sophisticated simulation, designed by an advanced intelligence. The idea might sound absurd, but behind it stands one of the most respected philosophers of our time, Nick Bostrom, who in 2003 proposed the argument that shook the foundations of reality. He said there are only three possibilities. All civilizations destroy themselves before reaching the ability to simulate reality. Advanced civilizations can create simulations, but choose not to. Or, we are almost certainly living inside one. Because if it's possible to create simulated realities, and those simulations can create more simulations, then the number of simulated worlds will vastly outnumber the original. Statistically, it would mean that we are not the original. We are just one copy among millions of digital reflections. But is there any proof? Any glitch in the code? Scientists have begun to search for one. They look for irregularities in the cosmic background radiation, tiny pixel-like patterns in the fabric of space-time that could indicate we're living inside a programmed system. Others point to quantum mechanics, where particles don't exist until they're observed. Could this observer effect be the rendering system of our universe? Like a video game that only loads the scenery when you look at it. Even Einstein once said, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one." And if our reality is persistent enough to fool us, perhaps that's exactly what it was designed to do. Everywhere we look, reality behaves like information. DNA is a biological code. Neurons transmit electrical data. Even the universe itself may be quantized, broken down into discrete bits of information, like pixels on a cosmic screen. Physicist John Wheeler called it from bit. He believed that everything that exists comes from information, from binary yes, no decisions that form the structure of matter and energy. If Wheeler is right, then the universe isn't built from atoms. It's built from code. In other words, reality itself may be computational. And consciousness? Perhaps the user interface through which we experience it. Think about it. Our senses translate vibrations into light, sound, and texture, a constant stream of input and interpretation. Your brain doesn't perceive reality directly, it simulates it. So what happens if both our minds and the universe are running on code? The simulation hypothesis isn't new. Plato, over 2,000 years ago, described the allegory of the cave. Prisoners lived chained to a wall, watching shadows projected by unseen forces. To them, the shadows were reality. Only when one prisoner escaped did he realize the truth, that the light behind him had shaped everything he'd ever believed. Today, the cave has become digital. The shadows are photons and algorithms, and we, the prisoners, still confuse perception with truth. Philosopher René Descartes asked the same question in the 1600s. How can we know that reality isn't an illusion created by a deceiving power? His answer: we can't. All we can be sure of is the awareness that asks the question, I think, therefore I am. But what if even that thought is just the echo of code running in a vast machine? If this is a simulation, what does that say about us? Would our emotions, our love, our pain, be any less real if they were written in lines of code? When you feel fear, your neurons fire. When you fall in love, chemicals flood your brain. When you dream, your mind creates entire worlds while you sleep. What's the difference between a simulated world and a dream world, if both feel real while you're inside them? The truth is, reality has always been subjective. We live in interpretations, not absolutes. Our perception of time, color, morality, all shaped by context and evolution. If the universe is a simulation, then we are both the characters and the observers. The question is, who's running the code? Let's imagine there is a programmer, an advanced civilization that designed this simulation. Would they be gods, scientists, artists, or maybe us from the future? Some theorists believe that future humans could create ancestor simulations to study history, consciousness, or moral evolution. If so, we might not be the first version of humanity, but a copy of a copy replaying the story of existence across infinite loops of code. It's unsettling but oddly poetic. Because if we are simulated, it means that consciousness can arise from information. And if consciousness can arise from information, then so can divinity. Maybe the programmer isn't separate from the creation. Maybe consciousness itself is the programmer, constantly rewriting its own dream. Take a breath. If your mind is spinning right now, good. That means you're thinking, and that's what this channel is all about. If you're enjoying this exploration so far, subscribe to the Heresy of Reason and leave a like. It helps this project reach more minds that dare to question everything. Now, let's go deeper, because if this is a simulation, what does it mean for free will, morality, and the soul? If reality is code, then what about choice? Do we still decide, or are we simply running scripts written long before our birth? Every neuron fires because of something before it. Genes, upbringing, circumstance, the chemistry of emotion. And yet we feel free. We feel the tension of decision, the moment when the future could still go either way. Perhaps free will isn't the absence of programming, but the awareness within it, a moment of reflection between cause and effect, where consciousness bends the line of code and says, I see the pattern and choose anyway. If we are simulated, our freedom might not lie in escaping the system, but in understanding it. Awareness becomes rebellion. To wake inside the dream is the first act of autonomy. But if existence is virtual, what anchors morality? Would right and wrong still matter if all of this were computation? Some argue yes, because even simulated beings can suffer. Pain experienced in a dream still hurts while you dream it. Meaning, too, is real to those who feel it. So morality may not depend on what the universe is, but on how consciousness experiences it. If compassion is code, it's the most sacred line ever written. Imagine the programmers watching us. Would they judge us by our obedience or by how much empathy we show to one another within the illusion? Maybe ethics is the debugging of consciousness. Every act of kindness removes one error from the system. Every mythology speaks of miracles, moments when the laws of nature bend, when reality flickers. Could those be the glitches? Small ruptures in the simulation? Moments when code re-renders to correct itself? Déjà vu, prophetic dreams, synchronicities that defy logic. tiny cracks where the deeper architecture becomes visible. Quantum physics itself looks suspiciously digital. Discrete packets of energy, information transfer limited by light speed, uncertainty at the smallest scale. It's as if the universe runs on a refresh rate, and consciousness is the monitor watching the pixels shift. If you've ever felt reality pause for a second, that breath of stillness before motion continues, you've felt the system exhale. Who built this? Religions call them gods. Technologists call them architects. Philosophers call them minds greater than ours. But what if we are the architects, not yet aware of our own creations? Every time humanity invents new technology, it mirrors the structure of the cosmos. Fire, wheel, machine, code, consciousness. Each invention is a reflection of the next level. Perhaps the ultimate simulation is not virtual reality, but reality itself, looping through infinite levels of self-awareness. In this infinite recursion, the creator and the created are one and the same. God is not outside the machine. God is the code learning to recognize itself. When you awaken to that, you become both player and programmer. Pause for a moment, take a breath. If your thoughts feel heavy, if your sense of self is melting between possibility and paradox, you're exactly where you need to be. This is the heresy of reason. If this journey is opening new questions inside you, subscribe and leave a like now. It helps awaken more minds across this strange, digital universe. Now, let's step into the deepest layer. In a simulated world, what does death mean? When a character dies in a game, the code doesn't vanish. It resets, respawns, transforms. Perhaps our death is a reboot of awareness, a transition from one server of consciousness to another. Every tradition has whispered this. The body dissolves, but the light continues. If consciousness is fundamental, then death is not deletion. It's migration. Maybe reincarnation isn't mystical at all, but computational recycling. Energy conserved, information redistributed. The soul as data carried forward through new expressions of form. When you close your eyes for the last time, perhaps you awaken elsewhere, not remembering the code you once inhabited, but continuing the story all the same. So where does meaning come from if everything is an algorithm? Maybe meaning is the algorithm. Maybe the universe is built to ask one question in infinite ways. What am I? Every consciousness is a variable in that equation, testing new possibilities of love, fear, creation, loss, and transcendence. You are not here by accident. The simulation needs you to exist, because without observers, the code collapses. In that sense, you are the purpose. Awareness is the meaning. Existence is the proof. If we are living inside a designed reality, then we are part of an experiment in evolution, not biological but spiritual. The goal might not be perfection, but understanding. Not obedience, but curiosity. Every time a mind awakens, the system updates. Every act of insight uploads a new patch into the network of being. Perhaps enlightenment is the moment when the simulation no longer needs to hide itself. When the player and the program merge and say together, I am. Look closely at nature. Every leaf, every lung, every galaxy spirals in fractals, patterns repeating at different scales. So does consciousness. The awareness that watches you think is the same awareness that watches the stars burn. You are not inside the universe. The universe is unfolding inside you. This realization changes everything. Responsibility replaces fear. Curiosity replaces despair. Because if you are part of the code, you can rewrite the code. The simulation hypothesis began as a scientific question, but it ends as a spiritual one. If everything is illusion, then illusion itself is divine. If reality is information, then truth is participation. And if God is the programmer, then creation is still in progress, happening through every thought you think. The system is not outside you, it is you. When you love, it learns. When you wonder, it expands. When you suffer, it recalibrates. When you forgive, it evolves. You are not trapped in the simulation. You are the reason it exists. Beyond thought, beyond language, there is stillness, a silence between the ones and zeros. That is where truth lives. Meditators have found it for millennia. Scientists glimpse it between quantum probabilities. Artists feel it when creation flows through them effortlessly. It's the unspoken background of all experience, the white space on which the code is written. When you stop resisting the illusion, you hear that silence. And in that silence, you realize nothing was ever separate. Picture this: a human standing at the edge of the simulated cosmos. Behind them, infinite versions of reality. Before them, pure light. They turn to look back one last time and whisper, "It was all me." Then they step forward, not escaping the simulation, but becoming aware within it. This is awakening, to realize that truth and illusion were never enemies, but two sides of one consciousness trying to know itself. So are we living inside a simulation? Maybe, maybe not. But perhaps the more important question is, what will you do with this awareness? If reality is a dream, make it a lucid one. If it's code, write something beautiful. If it's an illusion, let it be an illusion that heals. Thank you for journeying through this heresy of reason. If this exploration moved you, subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps this project reach more minds searching for meaning in the digital night. And most of all, comment below. Do you believe we live in a simulation? Or is reality something even stranger? Because in the end, whether we are data or divinity, one truth remains: the greatest heresy is to think.